Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Walkie, Talkie, Examinations. Alright, I don't have my headphones on, so the audio might get a little weird. I'm out for a walk with me and the boys. Hey, get out of the street!
Okay.
We have no
Going the wrong
sidewalk
way.
here. No sidewalk here. I hate that. The sidewalk ends like really close to my house, and so we have to make do without. But at least it's not Portland. In Portland, it's like they have these ditches along the side of every single road. It's for drainage, which is really great because it rains all the time, and if it didn't, then all the roads would flood. But boy, it's dangerous. I used to see cars just freaking cars in ditches all the time. But that was Portland. This is San Diego. Not the same thing. What's up, Mecca McCheese, P Money, Zach Richmond, John Della Rose, P Money again. Finally got the day off, and you finally stream. I know. I've been trying to get to this, but it's life. That's life. Funny as it seems, sometimes I don't have the time to start up all my streams. Hey, I made a rhyme. There's Isaac. So we're going for the walk. I'm going to try to go ahead and do what I did last time, except backwards. So I actually brought a bottle of water this time. And it's actually, the sun's going down. It's getting chilly. So I actually wore a sweatshirt. And actually, I think I did last time too. But I didn't wear the thick one this time. So what is up with y'all? Don't get lost. I don't think I will get lost this time. At least I hope not. But if I do, then, I can eat one of the children. Mm-hmm. That should keep us alive. Well, it'll keep two of us alive.
Micah.
We'll sacrifice Micah. He's got the most meat. Isaac's very skinny. So what is going on? I was on Doug to Naples while I was cooking my barbecue not too long ago. Not barbecue, grilling. People often confuse the term barbecue and grill. Grilling is just meat on the grill. Barbecue requires barbecue sauce. No. We're going long way around.
Oh my god.
Let's see the disappointment on their faces.
Wait, which thing?
Which way are we going? We're going that way. I told you, across the street.
I've never been over there.
You've never been? I know. This will be the first time for you guys. Second time for me. Find some fruit on a random tree or something. I know, right? The hell bird is that? Barbecue is low heat, grilling is high heat. No.
That's smart.
No, barbecue requires sauce and stuff. It doesn't matter if it's low heat and you're just sticking a hot dog on the grill. You're still grilling. It's 76 and humid here. Walking outside would get me drenched in sweat. 76 and humid. Where are you, Zach? Buzzards circling already. I know. Terrible, right? Wow, that street looks really busy. It's a little busier than usual. Oh, it's traffic time. That's why. Raid from Doug Stream. Oh, seriously? Did Doug just wrap up? Yeah, sorry. I was on Doug Stream and I tried to turn the camera around so people could see my cheeseburgers melting on the grill. And somehow it locked up the entire street. Woo! Alright, wait up. We're going to have to
Run.
look at this. This is the craziness. Look how fast these cars are coming. I'm telling you, man. Let's do it. That's life. Actually, it's really perfect timing, actually. Funny as it seems. Cool stream with Doug and Tim Lim. Yeah. And came up with a great idea during that stream. Somebody did. I think it was Doug. a Trump comic aggregator site. And one has been purchased, and I am hoping someone in the community with the webbing skills. Actually, what I think we should just do is take Indicron, just take that basic what do they call it? Stencil? Not stencil. Format? No. What is it called? I have a template. Take the basic template. Steep hill, huh? It's steep hill, no?
Pee in a bottle.
Is that pee in a bottle? I'm gonna guess that is pee in a bottle. So,
Apple juice.
if you're thirsty, I have this. We don't have to worry about drinking.
It's apple juice.
We don't have to worry about drinking from the pee in the bottle.
You mean the apple juice?
So yeah, if someone could, or if Pixel Trader can take the Indicron template, if it's as easy as swapping out books and some graphics, I could do the graphics for it. And I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it, so this is all just happening very quickly. But the idea that all of us doing Trump books, MAGA books, can cross promote each other. Each of us have different political connections, different media connections, and if we can have those connections all directing towards the same place, then all of the MAGA, all of the Trump books. Micah, are you dying? This is a tall hill. This is a steep hill. It would really be good. Will your books be on Kickstarter? I don't think Kickstarter is a big fan of Donald Trump, so I'm not entirely sure they would allow it. But that being the case, if we're bringing a lot more faces to Indiegogo, being directed there by media outlets, that could be good for everyone on Indiegogo. Rising tide lifts all boats. Unfortunately for some, that might mean that it'll skew the Indiegogo marketplace farther to the right. And I know there's some SJWs who cry about politics and comics having anything to do with each other. But you know what? You go ahead and cry. I'm not gonna change my behavior because it upsets you. So, oh, that's a hill. Holy cow. Micah, come on, you can do it. Poor kid. He's way back there. All right. This is why Mike needs a V360 camera so I can, or VR, and pretend to be walking in a warm weather. No, they hate him. Mr. Dead in his pocket says, right on. Our dad says, good job, Mike. Proud of you. Oh, is it for climbing up the hill? Now we go this way, which is downhill. Happy? Yeah? Micah, are you hurting? You're limping. Or are you just dragging your feet? Come on, you're going to ruin your shoes dragging your feet like that. Remember when you were a kid and you dragged your feet everywhere you went and your shoes literally, even though you're outgrowing your shoes at the pace of about every 6 months. Ah, get it!
They didn't go sideways.
You lazy. You still ruined your shoes before you outgrew them. And then like you get to be in your 40s and your shoes last until your 50s. Like your shoes start falling apart from the top down instead of the other way around. Oh, what's that? That's not dandelion, is it?
It tastes like lemon.
Tastes like lemon. Oh, lemongrass?
No, it's like from
Let's
the
see what's
clovers.
going on here. It's from the clovers.
I don't.
Are you're
think you
eating
should eat
these?
This top.
You're eating this?
Jojo likes them.
Jojo likes them?
They taste like lemon. Sour.
Yeah, a little tart, huh?
Why you like them?
Oh, tart.
ASMR.
Woo! Wow, that's sour. All right.
This is how they made lemons.
That's how they made lemons. How is this my child? Oh, that's life. That's
So
life.
big.
Are you guys eating bushes? Not bushes. They're the
okay,
flowers
too.
from the clovers. Clover flowers. Clover flowers.
Jojo will like them.
Does he? Does Jojo munch on those?
Yeah, he likes them.
Of course he does. They're sour. He loves sour. Man, that kid will eat lemons, limes. Nom, 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 nom. Roadside soil is usually pretty contaminated. Oh, be quiet.
He swallowed.
How do you know they didn't spray those?
I just-
I don't taste any chemicals. Flowers from the puke tree. No, no, no. And it's not the puke tree, but let's not go there again.
Where?
I still drag my feet, and I'm in my 40s. Oh, goodness. WT, pick up your feet when you walk. Pick up your feet, heel, toe.
You mean do this?
Heel, toe. Yeah, don't drag your feet. Come on, Micah, pick up your feet. Goodness. Goodness. Will your sales be negatively affected if Trump loses? God forbid. God will not lose. Don't be silly. And I don't know. I don't really intend this particular book. It's supposed to take place until the inauguration. I don't know. Maybe it'll have a life. I don't expect this book to be selling 10 years from now, right? It's not. It is sort of a marketing thing. I mean, it's fun. I used to do a political webcomic. I don't know if you guys know that. It was called Right, Left, Center. And it was basically, remember Sam the coyote and the sheepdog? And they'd punch in from work every day and they'd be like, hey, Sam, hey. I can't remember the dog's name. And then they'd have their little whatever, and then they'd punch out of work. That was like Right, Left, Center. I'd have a donkey and an elephant punch into work each day, and then they'd have a little political argument at the end, and then, you know, the elephant would always be right, because elephants never forget. But yeah, political stuff is fun. I haven't really been into it. What is that? That's a brown pile. Actually, I think it's steel wool. Steel wool. That is drainage. Your book could be this year's Trumpy Bear. That'd be great. That'd be great. I'm just not convinced he'll win. Oh, P-Money. You Canadians are so silly. Walking on ice breaks the feet dragging habit. Huh. Never underestimate the left's ability to stuff the ballot box. Ah, that is fair. That is fair. The runoff from the road keeps the bushes well watered. I like seeing palm trees. Where's palm trees? Oh, there's one right there.
Micah.
Get out of the street!
Micah, stop running in the middle of the street.
Jeez, what's wrong with you? Knucklehead. Has it really come to this, Mike, scavenging for the weeds? There's no fruit trees on this walk. I'm telling you. Patriotic rocks. Patriotic rocks. All right, let's see. Trudeau somehow winning despite my vote made me cynical. That I can understand. Sorry, hold on. I guess pull my sleeves up. All right, now, where did I go after this? We'll figure it. We'll figure it. I think I do go right. I think it is right. What's the subject matter for D&Q tonight, starting in an hour and a half or 2 hours? That would be thunder, thunder, Thundercats, ho! Not Thundercats, go. Thundercats, ho, yo. Gotta head to church. All right, Zach, peace out. God bless Trudeau. Oh, my hands are getting crampy from holding my phone. The Dems don't even have anyone to run against Trump. They are just shotgunning. No, they don't. They don't. They honestly don't. I know Bernie. If Bernie gets the nomination, I think he just. I thought that was you first. Whoa. Hey, look at this. This could be fixed up. Free armoire. Needs some new trim and stuff. But don't care. Just because Bernie could get out the vote from... He would be more encouraging to the far left to get out the vote. Except they don't realize there's not enough of the far left. There's not enough of the far left who would vote for Bernie. People in this country don't want socialism. And Bernie can dress it up however he wants as democratic socialism. But it's socialism. It is... Shoot, which way was it? I think it's that way. Bernie's been a dyed-in-the-wool socialist his whole life. I mean, he was a hippie. He honeymooned in the Soviet Union. He's been a socialist. You know, no prefix, no prefix socialist for most of his political career. And he didn't slap Democrat on there until he started to run for president in the Democratic Party. So the only reason the word Democrat is associated with the socialist Bernie Sanders at all is because he wanted to run in the Democratic Party. People aren't stupid. Most people aren't stupid. A lot of people are ill-informed. That's kind of the problem with this whole country. Got a bunch of ill-informed people letting their vote be bought from them No. Here, go jump. This is not a good idea, but if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could jump into that pile of cactus there. You're killing me, kid. How are you this out of shape? Pick up your feet. You're dragging your feet. That's costing you calories. It's costing your shoes rubber. You know, if you tied your shoes, it would actually be easier to walk. You did? No, you didn't. Pelosi held on to the impeachment so long that now Bernie will have to be in D.C. the week before the Iowa caucus. Oh, well. Oh, well. Now, I think people, honestly, in high school and college, we seriously need to have people read, like, just take a whole class on Austrian economics. It'll be like 3 books. Adam Smith. What is the name of his famous work? It's not basically economics from the word go. The economy of nations, something of nations. Someone will know it. I don't know. One of Thomas Sowell's books, and something epic from Milton Friedman. And just, if you could just teach proper economics to everybody and how the world actually works, I think it's this way. Then, hey, look. Wealth of Nations. Thank you. Wealth of Nations. This way. Yeah, it's funny because Adam Smith, he breaks it down from the very essence of what capitalism is when we were all hunters and gatherers, we all had to take care of our own families. You would go hunt, and you would go kill a rabbit, kill a bird, whatever. You'd have a bow and arrow to take down whatever you needed to take care of your family. Well, one guy discovers that he makes the best arrows out of everybody. They're the straightest, they shoot the farthest, they're the most perfectly balanced. And he discovers that he can trade these arrows for more rabbits. So instead of spending his time going out and hunting, he can just trade a better hunter than him, and that would be that hunter's skill. He's the better hunter. And they trade, and this becomes commerce, right? This becomes money. Arrows become money. And he extrapolates it out in the Wealth of Nations. He extrapolates that out all the way through, banking, through industry, through all this stuff, to the point where he uses. I don't think he uses the example of the pencil. Does he use a pencil? I know Milton Friedman uses a pencil, but he uses the example of the pencil, wherein if you have a pencil, you have like one single pencil, it costs you 15 cents. That pencil has employed thousands and thousands of people by you buying this pencil. And you're like, it's a pencil, it costs 15 cents. How on earth is that possible? And the reality is that pencils are encapsulated. Okay, we'll start with the core of the pencil. It's graphite. It's made out of carbon and clay. Well, that clay has to be mined. That carbon has to be mined. What does it take to mine clay? It takes diesel fuel. It takes tractors. It takes, what does it take to build a tractor? It takes steel manufacturers. It takes milling. It takes, how many people are involved in the manufacture of the bolts that hold the tractor together? It's this it's called the invisible hand of the free market, and it goes on and on and on. There's no end to the number of people in the free market that you buying a 15-cent pencil doesn't help. And it may be incremental and it may be infinitesimal in the grand scheme of things, but everything around you is a part of that market. And anything you buy builds wealth among other people, and it may just be a little bit. But you know what I learned? You don't just have to do one painting and sell it for $50,000, right? You can do one drawing and sell 50,000 of them for $1, or 50,000 of them for $10, right? Thereby you spread out, you lower the cost for all these people. It's just how markets work, and it's just so common sense if you just sit down and you read through and you understand it. That if you do understand it, all this socialist garbage can't break through the logic of how markets actually work. If you have a rational, logical understanding, basically of humanity, and of how us just buying a mailbox at Home Depot helps, some dude in South Africa. It literally does. It literally does. It helps, some guy in some podunk town who is going into a mine and getting whatever it is, whatever element they need for the paint that they use to paint the stinking thing with. So yeah, it's good. And Mike, ever heard of American exceptionalism? Yes, I have. What about it? What about it? Nice sunset back there. Oh yeah. It's the sunset behind these trees. Pretty tree too. Same with one book to make whatever. I've done 5 crowd-funded campaigns. My total of them is nearing 100,000. My next one, I'll get there. I produce more, and everyone wins. Hey, man, if you're producing something and somebody else wants it, that's right, you win. I am on my 4th campaign. I've done over $400,000 on Indiegogo since I began. And yeah, it's been the best couple of years of my life. All producing stuff for people who want it. Free market capitalism. God bless America, you know? Anyone like the musician Pogo? I don't even know who that is. No, Mike, the invisible hand is something else. Okay, explain if I'm getting that mixed up with something else. I remember some saying they were going to fight the Democratic Party over the Hillary loss, but it never amounted to anything. They just kept quiet and contracted anti-Trump derangement syndrome. Fair. Yeah. Walking downhill, if you walk down like this way, it's actually probably better for you. Wasn't that? We passed Tori's house, right? It was up there. Stay up straight. Oh, no. I think it might be up here. It doesn't matter. The system would self-balance if politicians were a little more patient. They got out of our frickin' pockets. I just want people to read my work. I honestly don't care if I make money because it's just a hobby for me. I have a profession I enjoy. That's awesome, Farmer Dan. Yeah, if you have a hobby, if you just want to, you know how many thousands and thousands and thousands of hours I spent drawing because it was my hobby, and then it became my profession because I just love doing it. So I feel you. If you just want to do it because you love doing it and you want people to enjoy it, and you share it for free, that's awesome. But you know what? Someday you might have so many people enjoying it and donating money to you or whatever that you're like, well, I'm just going to do my hobby for my work or as additional income or whatever. You know, Pencil was the original pencil essay written by Leonard Reed about 62 years ago. Oh, okay, so it was not the pencil that he was using. I don't know, it's been a while. I gotta go back and go through Wealth of Nations again. I need to reprime my primer. Nice. The sunset. Sun is setting. A lot Micah's lagging. Micah. Goodness, this kid. Sometimes I feel that the majority of Americans live in a bubble. No offense. Sorry, Joe, did you have something more specific that you said that I got my invisible hand wrong? Oh, that's cute. Hands. Americana. Hands in the cement. Your hands are too small. How you doing? Americans do live in a bubble, actually. We live in a bubble where we think that we know what poverty is. No, we don't. Talk to anyone who's ever lived in a third world country. Or if you're an American and you live in California, go visit freaking Mexico. Holy cow. If you want to know what third world living is like, you want to know what real poverty is. I know you guys have heard me say this a million times. It is, to Joe's point, it is that bubble. It's this spoiled American thing. And that's why we have all, because we're so spoiled, you know, we've allowed our education system to teach our children, we don't deserve it. We don't deserve to be this blessed. It's like, can't you appreciate it? Deserve's got nothing to do with it. It's what do you do with it? Do you appreciate it? Do you try to take your blessings and use them to bless others? To try to raise the tide? And make the world a better place for everybody around you? Or do you just freaking complain about it And instead of taking personal responsibility and trying to help people by yourself, you try to get the government to steal other people's money from them to do what you want with it. I don't understand the concept of people who innately distrust the government, which is fair. One should always innately distrust the government because that's our duty as citizens, is to keep the government accountable, right? But out of one side of their mouth, they innately distrust the government, and the other side of their mouth, they want to take the money away from the people and give it to the government to spend. What the hell is wrong with your brain if you think like that? It's like, what's that called? When you, I don't know, some sort of disassociation from not being able to. You're holding two ideas that contradict each other, and somehow think that they're gonna work. I don't know. Is it bipolar? Is it? I don't know. What do you guys got? What do you guys got? WT says, our people on welfare live objectively better than the pharaohs did. Longer lives, more food. That is absolutely true. One of these days I'm going to do my story. You know the Prince and the Pauper story? I wanted to do a time travel Prince and the Pauper story with a child of royal lineage in the Middle Ages who swaps places out with, like, I don't know, the child of an illegal immigrant in America or something. And then when time comes to switch back, the royal kid's like, no way, man. This is way better. I can go to the store and get mangoes and papayas or whatever, and I can go to the bathroom and my poop just gets flushed away from me. I don't have to. I can turn on the faucet and hot water comes out, and within like 15 seconds, I don't have to wait 2 hours for them to boil enough water for me to have a bath. Just all the things, just the basic luxuries of life that the poorest people in America are spoiled by. I grant you, I'm far more spoiled than the poorest people in America. So this is not about that. It's just, we don't understand what poverty is. We don't understand that there are people still on this planet who can't get clean drinking water, who freaking die because they drink bacteria-laced freaking puddles of mud, and this is the only water they have access to. There's people on this planet who spend their entire days trying to find enough food to survive on their own. I mean, just themselves, not even feeding a family. We are spoiled. We do live in a bubble. You're absolutely right. It's called cognitive dissonance. That is correct, Felix. Thank you. Poverty is relative, as is wealth. That's truth too. That is truth too. But if you take America as a relative, just a worldwide status, not a worldwide status. That's very poorly worded. If you take the poverty levels in America, there is no poverty in America by world standards. There's poverty only in the sense that our rich are super freaking crazy rich. But by world standards, our poor are super crazy freaking rich. That's not to say I want people living on the street. I don't. I want to help anybody who wants help. And I don't have the perfect solution to any of it either. I don't think anybody does. And as long as they want to just sit there and use it as a political football, nothing's ever going to get solved anyways. Hey Mike, how late am I? 34 minutes. Peter, Mike, 34 minutes. There are no two countries that have a McDonald's who have gone to war with each other. Thank you, Mecca McCheese. I don't know if that's true, but I'll take your word for it. Ooh, check this car out. Is that an Impala? What is that? That thing's sweet. Needs a little work, but... Is that an Impala? Somebody tell me if they know if that's an Impala. isn't Mississippi poor compared to New York, not compared to Zimbabwe, not compared to Kenya. You can sponsor a family in Kenya for 20, 30 bucks a month, and it'll absolutely change their entire lives. 1970 Impala, my hubby said. Nice ride. Poorest country in Europe has the greatest McDonald's. What is the poorest country in Europe? What is it? I know a lot of the Eastern Bloc countries still having what I would call a communist hangover. Anybody need water? I've got a bottle in my pocket. No water? No water. We're not exactly living on Arrakis here. I don't believe in any NGO anymore. Non-governmental organization. Moldova has a McDonald's. Great McDonald's. Good to hear. The poor in the Rome lived much better than the poor outside of it. It's always been this way in the world. Yeah, but the poor in America live much better than the rich in Rome. And honestly, man, it would be great if someday we could get to the point where the whole world had the living standards of the poor in America as a baseline of existence. That would be like freaking utopia. It's like then everybody could just have first world problems. First world problems are still problems, says Farmer Dan. True. That is true. Every life will have its own problems. Doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. Joe asked, Mike, do you own your house? I mean proper owning and not paying mortgage. No, my bank owns my house. My bank owns my house. Bank of America holds... Oh, wow. They are trimming a tree over here. A nice big tree, too. Tree trimming, check it and see. Got a fever of 103. Watch out for fallen branches. P-Money says, I lived in Kenya for 8 months. We met a woman and gave her 8,000 shillings, which is only $100, and she was able to send her child to college. Wow. We didn't think it was a big deal, but it sure helped her. Yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy. Did you know that in India, which is a country that people don't consider necessarily to be like one of the worst off countries. Actually, India's booming, at least in part. But in India, if you're a math teacher, I looked this up. I was curious. You get paid $31 a month. $31 a month to be a highly educated, like a college-educated math teacher. $31 a month. I can't feed my kids a meal for $31. Well, I can, but I have to skimp. I can't buy them Taco Bell. I can't buy my family Taco Bell for $31. It usually costs around $40 for Taco Bell, and I don't buy drinks. I don't spend the extra money for drinks. That would be over $50. That would be over $50 for Taco Bell for my family. Taco Bell. And these guys live on that. Feed a family, pay a mortgage, or pay rent as a professional for $1 a day. It's insanity, isn't it? Just the disparity of wealth in the world. And you know who gets paid fat dollars? Colorists. I have a couple different colorists in India who I pay a decent, like a real freaking page rate. And they're getting 3 times a professional worker's wage for something that probably takes them 3 hours. So they're, man, they must be hella stoked. Okay, running across the road. We gotta wait here for the street to subside. Bitcoin is actually not going down, Comics Bear, if you've looked at it. Sorry about the noise. Wait for this car. Oh, he's stopping for us. Thank you. All right. Doobie doobie doobie. Okay, but don't say we don't need tax. No, taxes are necessary for a government to run. I don't believe an income tax is necessary. This country ran perfectly well before the income tax was instituted, and then, as governments will, the more tax money they get, the more stuff they decide that is their responsibility, and then the federal government grows and grows, and then the taxation grows and grows, and eventually, and this happened in the 1960s, the top tax rate got up to 90%. 90%. You're literally a slave to the government if you're rich enough to be in the top tax rate where you're only making 10% of your income, because the rest of your life's blood, your life's force, the energy you put into making a dollar is going to the government. That ain't right. That's theft. That's not just theft of money. Money is like your time and your effort, the time away from your family, the time away from things you'd rather be doing, but you have to be earning money. It is your life. And the government wants to take it all away from you. Screw that, man. Screw that noise. It wasn't really 90%. Everything was deductible. The average paid rate was about 18%. Well, that's what happens when your tax rate is 90%. You hire accountants and lawyers to find every possible way to shelter that money, to put that money, to spend that money on things that are deductible, whatever it is. You find ways to get out of having to pay that 90%. But like Putin did when he came in, I believe that our tax rate in the USSR was, or in Russia, this is post USSR, when that was, I think, 70 to 90%. He just came in and said, okay, flat rate, everybody, 13%. It's fair, it's equal, it's even. Everybody pays the same percentage. Works for me. Worked for Russia. Got them out of debt for the first time since World War II. Or since the Cold War. Was it since World War II? It might have been since World War II. Putin has been in control of Russia for like 25 years. Yeah, well, Hitler got the trains to run on time. I'm not saying I'm a fan of Putin, but boy, that was smart. Smart is smart, no matter what your political identity is. Smart is still smart. And getting rid of all those crazy taxes and making it a flat 13% was smart. If we did that here, economic boom, guaranteed. Russia is actually in good shape financially. I haven't been paying that much attention. Let's see. I miss anything important? Government man is coming for Mike. They work for themselves on 5 weeks of the year. Harsh. I know, right? Art of the Hero. We have a small libertarian party in my place. It's something all right. One of its leaders is some fruity dude. Hope to tell you and Edwin about it someday. You have a libertarian party in your place? I don't even know what that means, man. Whew, I'm just going to sit down out here for a minute. I'm in my backyard. Sitting. The 90% tax rate meme is a Bernie trick. I don't know what that means. $500 a gallon. Oh, what is the gas prices in California? Depends on where you go. It's just shy of $4 a gallon at most of the places I go to, but there are some places where they're trying to charge close to $5 a gallon. Places next to the highway robbery, I guess they say. Just responding to Peter, who says tax is theft. Taxation is theft. Well, you're taking something from someone. Back from a haircut, some sense of. Not all taxation is theft. Police and fire should be public servants and not beholden to shareholders. That is my commie opinion. Shareholders. There was a time when fire departments were voluntary. All right? I mean, I have friends who are firemen. They do just sit around a lot. But it is important that, somebody's there. Although, if you are... No, I guess it's important because, sometimes you need to just be there immediately. So, yeah, I think that's a fair thing that needs to be... It's a public concern that should be paid for with public dollars. Income tax? No, I could do away with income tax. Mecca says... In my country, trust me, this is gold. Lots of stories about the opposition. They are funny and sad. I don't know where you are from, Mecca. Bernie always says, once upon a time, the rich paid 90%. Why are Republicans complaining now? He knows the actual rate paid hasn't changed much. You didn't leave the boys... No, they ran ahead of me and they're in the house. That is my neighbor up the hill. My basketball. I agree with having flat rate. It would work best. I do too. I don't know how we could get there though. Mike is drawing a salary. People are worried about Putin, says Dark Admiral Mark's hair. I worry about who's going to replace him eventually. Yeah. Indeed. Thankfully, he's in very good shape. Property tax. I think, I could be wrong, but isn't that kind of how... I can't open this without it spilling all over me. I'm trying to remember what the first taxes were. Comics used to be $1. Can we blame that on the government? Comics were 60 cents when I started collecting. Dental examinations. Yeah, Eden needs to get her wisdom tooth pulled. I need to find that. I have a dentist here in town who said he'd do all of my work for my family for free. I gotta find him. Property tax is actual theft when the property doesn't generate income. I haven't thought that through. True that. 30 cents for me. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when they went up to 75 cents. I was like, oh man. Liam Hardy says, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown said in an interview, a flat rate of tax would be the best thing for growth, but that would be electoral suicide, so could never be implemented. I don't understand why it would be electoral suicide. I really don't. Pay your Bitcoin tax. Well, the Bitcoin tax doesn't come until I forget what the exact Bitcoin or cryptocurrency tax laws are. I think they keep changing them. The Comedian of Comics. I love this channel. Thank you, Speedy. My first comic was an Archie. My first comic was that I bought from the comic book store was that Sideways issue of Fantastic Four. I think it might have been 384. I think. I'm probably wrong. But yeah, it was John Byrne, Fantastic Four. That's when I got in. $3.84. Don't remember the cost. Was it $3.84? Everything falls apart. Mike can live off figs from the yard. I can't. That's only like end of summer, fall. All the figs are gone now. All the figs are gone now. Figs are gone now. I've got nothing to eat. All the leaves have fallen off of my fig tree too. I think my first comic was a Christian one from the Power Team. Anybody remember them? I have no idea. Sounded like Kermit. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. Rainbows have nothing to hide. When are shows explaining how to buy your books? Just found your channel 2 days ago. You can go to the description. Oh, shoot. No, this is on my phone. It probably doesn't have it. You can go to Indiegogo and look up Lone Star Mike Miller. It'll have my issue 1, issue 2, and Monster Hunt. You can get... that's what I have cooking right now, Speedy. And those are being colored as we speak. 2 and Monster Hunt. 1 is already done. It's just a reprint issue. But yeah, welcome, Speedy's Comic Book Showcase. Please do subscribe. And I don't know if you know who I am, Speedy. Mike S. Miller. I am the artist from Injustice for about 6 years. One of 3 main artists. It was me, Bruno Redondo, and Tom Taylor. And I do all the Game of Thrones covers and Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings covers and stuff. Which, gosh, I have to start working on the next one soon. And now I'm doing my own books on Indiegogo. I'm launching my own universe called Blacklist Universe. Heroes you can believe in. Which will be nice, right? Too bad Archie is a toxic company. It was like that from the very start. Was it? Gary Shipman was working on page 20 of Titan, Mouse of Might. Now on Indiegogo. Yes, I have all your stuff. Owned a local comic shop for years. Probably years, but yes. Speaking of Blacklist Universe, how about Godsword? It's on the back burner, Farmer Dan. I have to get stuff more settled. I need a firmer foundation before I start launching that other stuff. Which means I have a... oh, thank you, Liam. Loving the Kermit voice. Kermit the Frog. Oh, that's... What's that dog's name? Rolf! Hey, I'm Rolf. Rest in peace, Godsword. No. It's still gonna be a thing. It's still gonna be a thing. I just want... You know, the hashtag that shall not be named, since I have left that, and I am uncertain what my foundation will be. I really don't want to push further plans until after Lone Star 3, and I know that I will have the kind of foundation that can not just support my family, but also fund other projects. So I'm just being responsible here. I'm just being responsible. Jordan Peterson does a good Kermit. Sorry, Jordan Peterson here. Hi. What was your first ever mainstream book? I want signed and slabbed. My first ever Marvel book was Cable, issue 12, in 1994. 3 or 4? 93 or 94. Cable, issue 12. My first DC comic book was Triumph, the miniseries, all 4 of those. So the first one was my first. My first published comic book work was inking the cover of Arrow over Tom Durenick, oddly enough. And that was in 1992. We hadn't had our names on a book together until Injustice, again, because I stopped inking eventually. But I started as an inker. That's a whole different story. And, 1992. I broke in the summer, right after WonderCon. Chris Ulm got me my first work. Worked as an inker primarily and a cover artist. An inker and cover artist for Malibu for a year. Then started getting work at Marvel and Image. And then shortly DC. So it all came together rather quickly. Kicking out the founders of the company, trying to leave writers and with nothing, sex scandals and family fights. Am I missing something? What were we talking about? Did you do work Transformers G.I. Joe for Image? I seen a collection today and thought about buying it. I did it for Devil's Due. I think they were publishing through Image at the time. Yeah, they were publishing. Yeah, so it published through Image. No, I'm not barbecuing kids. We're talking about Archie. Triumph had a really cool costume. I thought it was clunky. I did not like drawing that character. It's kind of interesting, though, because Triumph, according to Triumph, founded the JLA. And that was written, by the way, by Christopher Priest. Good old Jim Owsley, under his new name. That was my first work at DC. Although I don't think I ever talked to him. I was a huge Heroes Were Born fan. It's when I first noticed Mike Miller's work, although I didn't know Mike S. Miller was the same person. That was me. That was mostly inking stuff, though. So, are you timing the MAGA book right? I mean, you need to drop it between certain dates to be effective. I'm timing it for it to come out when it's ready to come out. If you have suggestions, feel free to let me know. I read that Cable 12 after finding out it was Mike's first book. The art is better than most early 90s stuff. The art in that is terrible, Farmer Dad. It's terrible. But that was written by Fabian Nicieza. I still have the title page for that book. Time to release it over the summer after the conventions. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Chris Crosby over at Keenspot about maybe having him handle actual direct market publishing. But as far as the Indiegogo is concerned, I'm going to do that first and early. So, anyone's suggestions, drop them in the chat, and Mike will be sure not to change a thing. Thank you. Mike hates it, but honestly, it's not just a Liefeld or Lee knockoff. True. Come to MegaCon. No, I don't like doing cons anymore. I'd rather stay home and work. I can even share a story of a writer who managed to defeat Archie in court. Well, it was actually Archie who defeated Archie with its own stupidity. Alan Walker, $2.99, says nothing. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Mike, I genuinely thought the George Soros drawing was EPS. And I was thinking, Mike, you've gone too far this time. It doesn't look anything like him. Do you think I'm that bad with likenesses? Forget the con. Just come to my house, Mike. I don't know exactly, Mike. You have to tie it up not only with the comic book calendar, but also the political calendar to get the full effect. Well, I think this whole year is going to be hot politically. It's going to be, it's election year, man. It's heating up already. So if I can get that ready to go next month, maybe launch it next month, that could be pretty slick. It could be pretty slick. So we'll find out. Anyways, it's been over an hour. I do got to get ready for. I got to take a shower, got drawn and quartered, and I want to try to finish this page. So the page I'm doing on the MAGA book right now is when they all come together, right? But I'm drawing each character individually, and I was thinking these individual characters would make great trading cards. So that's what I might do with those. Just take them off the page individually, maybe do a separate background for each of them, and all that stuff. So anyways, drawn and quartered Thundercats tonight, 7 o'clock Pacific time. Be there, be square. We'll see you guys later. God bless.